When you pray to God, who do you pray to? What do you pray to? How do you pray to God? Are you praying in order to get something? Are you praying to be available for it to come through? I recently heard somebody talk about how praying and with an E and praying with an A, they are so close. And I commented, it said that most people pray to God with the E. There's like praying, they want something. And if you pray with an A, to me, that is just available. Maybe the A stands for available. So that's a good question. And for most of us, certainly including me, I used to pray to a God that felt was outside of myself, even before or even after I started waking up to my true nature. There was still this sense that it was outside of myself and that I couldn't trust it. So there was kind of an expectation, I would pray for something, help me, or, whatever. And there was just this wall I had built between me and God, me and God out there somehow, as if it was an entity outside of myself that could decide if he, she, or it would answer my prayers or not. In that expectation, it was like we believe in a rewarding, punishing, withholding God. And that is such a typical God created in the mind of man and woman as human beings, separate sense of self, that we are separate from the divine. So we pray to something outside of ourselves. And the bottom line is, how deeply do we actually trust that thing outside of ourselves? And why should we trust it? Right? Look around the world. People are praying left, right, and center. Prayer groups, petitioning God, please help. Please help us. Please help us defeat our enemy. Please this, please that. Duality, duality, duality. And maybe not so surprising that it's not really working. I know that for many people, they feel like they have receiving answered prayer. And I know that happens. But what's the difference? Why is it that for some people that they actually receive the answer and some people not? What kind of a God is that? It's like, okay, I'll answer yours, but I'm not going to answer yours. What is the belief? What is the how do we see God? How do we justify that? Well, the mind justifies it with, well, you're supposed to learn something, or it will be revealed to you later. All these excuses and reasons that we have in the mind, which is dualistic, it's trying to come up with an answer to something it can't, because duality is not oneness, right? If there is one God, there cannot be another. There cannot be, oh, I'll give it to you, but I'll give it to you tomorrow, or I'll give it to you after you have done this or that. That is the God that most of us believe in, even though we may be deeply spiritual and have had some deep spiritual experiences, including myself. I had a huge awakening many, many years ago that was so earth shattering in a way that it's amazing that I could still doubt God. But the reason in my experience was that I had this huge opening, lasted for several months, living in this pure divine love and acceptance and whatever, the love. And then it went away. And that kind of made an imprint in me that I could not trust God, because God came and then left or went away. So how can I pray to this God? Now, the dilemma was that I couldn't let it go. I could not let go of this movement towards the divine. And I should probably say this instead. I couldn't let it go because something was touched so deeply that I couldn't separate myself from that anymore. And it was there as a longing. But I couldn't trust this God because it came, he came, she came, it came, and then left. And I was left in the worst mess. I mean, I went through a total hell ride for about 5 months. And so I look back, it's like, what was that? But it just stayed with me, this lack of trust, until some months ago, where there was a shift. I saw through it. I just saw through it and could see that it had all played out in my own mind. Now, that was a big leap after all these years to finally see that. And it gave me an immense amount of peace and quiet. And suddenly, that doubting, not trusting of the divine, that wasn't even an issue. It was just like, what was that? That's how it often goes when we have these shifts and healings. So, my God, the one I didn't trust, the one I had made up in my mind, was gone. And that was very, 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 very peaceful. I was so grateful because now I could start resting deeper instead of having this inner battle. I could just drop in deeper. And that's where the real prayer comes. It's this allowing, with the A, praying, allowing, making myself available to show me, because I do not know anything. Show me. And so to me, that is real prayer. Maybe different for you. That's totally fine. I'm sharing my experience. And so it's living from that place of not knowing, being open to be shown, being open to know with a capital K, knowing, deep knowing from the experience itself. And it really is very sweet because the more I rest in and as that, and I'm not saying I'm resting in and as that all the time, but it is my first priority. So if I slip out of it, that's fine. I can just come back because it's right here, right? It's just learning. It's like creating a new pathway to go here instead of there. So this is the place of just not knowing and just be guided, be led. I've talked about the flow, the divine flow. Just learning to trust that flow and just surf along, be curious, be open, and just see where it takes us. Because once you know this place, there is no duality, there is no God that will punish me or turn away from me or withhold anything from me. That can only happen in a mind based on duality. Cannot happen in here. That doesn't mean that the thoughts or the suggestions may not come. But the more I rest here, it's so much easier to say no, 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 thank you. Saying no to the mind, hey, come on, let's do some duality thing, where you don't trust the divine anymore. And no, I'm done. I'm done. I've played it. It was exciting. It was crazy. It was scary. And I got all these experiences, but I'm done. Yeah. Are you done? Would you want to go for another ride out there? It's fine. You can enjoy it. And if you feel that you're done, then come back inside. Flow with your own flow, your own surf your own flow. Find out what that's like.